Good morning. Thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of Michigan.com, the source of digital business news and information in the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide real estate news and mortgage news, support for small business and recipes, and much, much more. Visit us at Michigan.com. We thank you so much for being with us today. This is a special program. We're going to be talking about achievements for Arab Americans, and specifically with one successful Arab American. I'm going to tell you about him in a bit. Over the years, Arab Americans have achieved tremendous achievements and successes, whether it is in the Arab world or it is chiefly in the United States and Europe, and specifically in the United States. You know, with a quick search, I was able to come up with a long list of wonderful Arab Americans, good achievers, whether it is in chemistry, in medicine, in all fields. And it's just gratifying to really read about all of these great Arab Americans that have done tremendous work. And today we're going to be talking to a doctor rather, who, a PhD that is, who has excelled in the field of chemistry. It is no surprise that an Arab would excel in the field of chemistry. As you well know, Jabir bin Hayyan works contain the oldest known systematic classifications of chemical substances and the oldest known instructions for deriving and organic compounds. He did a lot of work in chemistry, and over the years, other Arab chemists have done a tremendous work. And today with us is Dr. Aaaeddin Alsbaiee. Did I say your name correctly, Doctor?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
Wonderful. And before we get into the recognition, the most wonderful recognition that he has received, I'm going to take the time to welcome him and ask him to tell us a little bit about him and, growing up, learning, and then, starting his way into chemistry. Again, good morning, and thank you for being with us. Tell us a little bit more about you and where you grew up and how did you get interested in chemistry?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here and talking to you. Yeah, definitely. So I'm actually, I grew up in Damascus. So I'm from Damascus, Syria. So I specifically grew up in an area called Kafar Susa, which is really in the heart of Damascus. And, so we are originally from an area in the old Damascus. It's called the Qimariya, which is pretty known to all of Syrians, basically. So that's where we are. We are originally from. So my mother's side is more, so her father is Turkish. So I'm kind of like a mixed Syrian and Turkish, I would say. So her last name is Bayraktar. So I'm sure you are aware of that last name. So yeah, I'm half Syrian, half Turkish, I can say. I was born in 1983, and I spent, I would say, kind of half of my life in Damascus. I actually studied chemistry at Damascus University, and I graduated back in 2005. So I obtained my bachelor degree in applied chemistry. So as you might be aware, in chemistry specialization, you can be in the biochemistry, you can be in organic, you can be in applied. So there are a couple of different specializations.
For those who don't understand what applied chemistry is, what is that?
It's more like industrial. So I would say, so basically you take more courses that are focused on, in the chemical industry, basically, especially petrochemicals, things like that. Like organic industry, organic chemistry, or industry based on organic chemistry, pharmaceuticals, natural products, things like that. So, so that's kind of what applied chemistry applies for.
Does that include those chemists who work with oil?
Yeah. Pretty much. So it's part of it. So we took maybe 3 courses, I think, that were focused on petrochemicals. Oil, and also like all of the chemical industry that's based on oil products, or oil derivatives, I would say. So they are called the petrochemicals kind of. Just a pretty kind of famous example of that is the polyethylene and polypropylene, that most of the polymers, like the plastic bags we use, for example, are based on petrochemicals. I would say that's just like a really famous example of that. Also, the plastic bottles that are used for, the water bottles, for example. So these are also mostly polypropylene, which is also, again, based on oil products or petrochemicals. So applied chemistry is basically focusing on so the oil industry is really very, very small part of the chemical industry. It's the chemical industry is huge. Like everything we use in our daily life is basically a chemical industry. So it's made from chemical raw materials or even chemical final products, or what we call the specialty products. So so chemical industry is huge. I got my bachelor degree in applied chemistry in 2005. Then I moved to Saudi Arabia actually in 2006 for my master's study in organic chemistry. So it was really specialized, on natural product synthesis, stereoselective synthesis. Probably are not familiar with that, but in general, like, for example, drug molecules, like drugs that we use, all of the different drugs, or I would say more than 95% of the drugs that we use in the, in the pharmaceuticals are based on the organic synthesis. So chemists have developed the tools and the ways to make these molecules, in certain ways. So some of these molecules are based, or they are derived from natural products, which we found them in nature, and then chemists found a way to make them in basically in the industry. So that's kind of like I would say part of the organic chemistry and the organic synthesis, the application of the organic synthesis. So particularly my master's research focused on making some drug intermediate molecules that are called the isoxazolidines. So these are cyclic compounds that are part of some natural products that are used in some of the pharmaceuticals that we use in our daily life. So I developed some new ways of making some of these intermediates, and especially I try to use water as a solvent. So as you know, or in general, like the chemical solvents are. Sure. No, they are not benign to the environment, as you know. Some of them are not biocompatible; they are not biodegradable. So they can be harmful. So what we were trying to do is we tried to make some of the organic transformations using water as a solvent instead of organic solvents. That's pretty challenging because you can't just use like you can throw some organic molecules in water and you can make a reaction. It doesn't work. Water reacts with most of or interfere with most of the organic reactions. It's very, very difficult. So you have to add some systems. We call them the micelles, that you can protect these molecules in kind of like a microenvironment, kind of like some vessels in water to protect them from the effect of water, basically. So the action can happen inside these. We call it the kind of the nanoreactors. So we designed some nanoreactors for the organic compounds to react inside these vessels, basically inside water, so that we can get the desirable products. So that's what I try to do.
What attracted you to chemistry as a young person?
So actually,
at a young age, I should say.
Yeah, so my uncle actually, he's a PhD chemist as well.
Okay.
Sabeiee. So he's I would say he was the most successful scientist or even like educated person in our family, and I was pretty moved by him. He's very successful. He got his PhD from France, and then he worked for Nestle, which is pretty big, food and drink company. And so he was really famous. Like he became the head of the of the companies, kind of the Middle East, and he was really famous. He lived in Dubai and things like that. So he was very famous, or at least. Like he was really successful, especially coming from our family. It's really something that I looked forward to.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination, a COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronaviruses. Scientists built from there with months of research and development, cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can. Keep wearing masks correctly and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19 and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Enjoy the first Syrian-style cuisine in Michigan. At Damascus Cuisine and Catering, you'll find a wide selection of Syrian foods and sweets in our menu, like frike, poisi, grape leaves with steak, mishawi platter, hot mahashi, char-grilled kebab, shawarma, and much more. Get super fast delivery from Damascus Cuisine and Catering right to your door. Order online at damascuisine.com/menu and track your order live. Damascus Cuisine and Catering, 28841 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Call 248-987-4985.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Dana, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Abdelmajid Katranji, and at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We're talking to Dr. Sabeiee, and we're talking about chemistry and his prestigious award. And when we left off, we were still talking about that your uncle inspired you to get into chemistry. Also, you must have also had something in you that really wanted to do this. You know, what was it, and you know, how did you develop that?
Yeah, I'm kind of an exploratory person. So I like to explore things since I was a kid, actually. Like I usually go deep into the things. Like, for example, I used to open the electronic devices, try to see what's inside, like how they work and things like that. So I was pretty naughty when I was a kid, but
curiosity, we call it curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. So I was a very curious kid. I think that's part of it. I also like how the scientists kind of look inside the labs with the white dress and kind of looking at things and going deep into how material is made and what's made of and things like that. So I mean, you would be surprised actually hearing that I was not a top student in chemistry, particularly when I was a kid. I used to get good scores in chemistry, but it's not. I was not the best student in chemistry.
Sure.
Part of it, I think, is because the way that they used to teach chemistry is more like, it's more like you have to memorize like equations, and so I'm kind of like so. Probably when I started, Damascus University, that's when I really fall in love with chemistry more and more. The reason is because I used to really ask questions beyond, like, what do equations mean? Like, how, when we see a chemical equation, what does it mean in the real world? I don't like just to see, like, okay, memorize the equation and okay, that's it. That's how, you mix these two type of chemicals and that's what you get at the end. I don't like this type of, kind of thoughts. I think I was a little bit more curious, even when I was in Damascus University. I used to go more kind of deep into trying to understand what equations mean and things like that. So that's what actually drove my curiosity and my love to chemistry more and more over time.
Absolutely. You made a good point. Like when I was in Lebanon, I grew up in Lebanon. I took a couple of classes of chemistry and I did not understand it. First, in Lebanon, they teach it, in French, and my French was not that good. And then our teacher wasn't good, so I didn't really learn it. When I came to the U.S. for schooling, I took one class and I said, "Oh my God, how easy chemistry is!"
Yeah.
It's the teacher, the all of that. So you went to Saudi Arabia to get your bachelor's. And how long did it take you? Like a couple years?
Yeah, it took 2 years. So 2 years and 4 months, I would say. And then after my master's, I worked for 6 months at the Research Institute at King Fahd University. So total, I stayed in Saudi Arabia for 3 years.
3 years.
So total, around 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called it's called the RI, the Research Institute inside the King Fahd University, which is also operated by the Saudi government. So I worked there as a scientist for some time. I was, I would say my main kind of job was to really establish a new lab, basically for the nanotechnology center at the RI. I established the lab. I kind of acquired the chemicals, the equipments that we needed in the lab, and it was going fine. And then at the end of 2008, basically, that's I got a scholarship from the University of Alberta in Canada for PhD studies. So I moved to Canada at the end of 2008, in December 2008, basically, and then I started the PhD program in January 2009.
Did you leave your family in Syria at the time?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all my family is in Syria, so I was the only one who was in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So I started my PhD in 2009 at the University of Alberta, and I spent almost like 4.5 years at the University of Alberta in Canada for my PhD. So usually the PhD takes at least 5 years.
Sure.
The first year, when I just joined the University of Alberta, I got just a teaching assistantship, like a scholarship, I would say. It's a pretty good stipend. So you just get it, during your PhD studies. You do research and you teach 2 labs, per week. So that's how you get your stipend that pays for the tuition fees and also most of your living expenses during PhD. But then, at the beginning of the second year, I got actually a scholarship. It's called the Alberta Innovate Scholarship. So this scholarship is, I would say, it's the top scholarship at the province of Alberta in Canada. So it's given to the top 10% graduate students at the province of Alberta, especially who work on nanotechnology programs or research. So I got that scholarship, and that scholarship actually took me completely out of teaching. So I didn't have to teach any more labs. Sure. My stipend has increased drastically. And also it was for 3 years. I used to get also like $5,000 a year for going to conferences each year, during these 3 years. So that really helped me a lot to wrap up my PhD research and really focus on it.
What was your field of study?
So yeah, I was still doing organic synthesis. So especially in the first year, so I made some organic molecules, but those molecules were bio-inspired. So they are guanine cytosine. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but these are the nucleobases that form the DNA in our body. So basically, so what we did is we tried to make some custom molecules to combine the guanine cytosine together in just one molecule, just to utilize the hydrogen bonding pattern of these two molecules. And then this molecule that we made, it's about 17-step synthesis. So it was pretty heavy organic synthesis that I had to do in the first 1.5 years, I would say. Then this molecule can self-assemble. So if you just try to dissolve it in water, then it just self-assembles in water by itself. Try to kind of like, similar to the self-assembly of the DNA double strand. So the same thing. So this molecule can self-assemble. It forms organic nanotubes. So these nanotubes, the dimension of them is like the diameter is around 1.7 nanometers. So it's pretty small. So you can imagine the diameter of it, it's like about 10 atoms or even probably 10 to 20 atoms kind of long, I would say. So it's pretty, very, very small.
So you would have to see it through...
Exactly. So electron microscope, you can't see it, by any... Yeah, so you have to use like SEM, TEM, AFM, all of these very, very high-tech electron microscopes to be able to see that. So it forms organic nanotubes in water. And then what we use to make, to use them for is basically for biomedical applications, because these are bio-inspired materials, I would say. It's more accurate. So they are more, so they are biocompatible. So the body does not see them as a foreign material that, fights with it. So they are biocompatible, and we utilize this really nice feature of them to use them for different biomedical application. Some of this biomedical application is the bone fracture treatment application. So that's what I focus on in my PhD. So particularly what we did is we try to decorate these nanotubes with like some peptides. So peptides are, are part of the proteins in our body. So what we did is the bone cells in our body produce proteins called BMP7 or bone morphogenic protein 7. So these proteins are signaling proteins between bone cells. So basically, bone cells use these proteins to talk to each other, basically. So what we did is we looked at this protein and we collaborated with Brown University in the US at that time, and with Prof. Webster. He's really pretty famous in that field. So we collaborated with him, and he identified the bioactive region of those proteins. It's about 30 amino acids long. So we took that bioactive region and we divided it to three 10 amino acid long peptides. Basically, we call peptide A, peptide B, and peptide C, and we try to decorate our nanotubes with each of these peptides A, B, and C. And I try to study a lot. So I made these peptides again by a technique called.
What's the benefit of that?
So the benefit of that is basically so when you coat the titanium biomedical implants. So as you know, like for example, if an old person have any bone fracture, then the bone doesn't really recover, right? So you have to kind of like attach the different parts of the bone by what's called the titanium biomedical implants, or even they are used to replace parts of the bones, like the knee replacement, for example, is by these titanium implants. So we basically, if you coat these titanium implants with these materials, then the body does not see them as a foreign material, and then they become part of the bone. Exactly, so they become part of the bone after some time, and then the bones start actually even growing on them, and basically, So now currently, what happens is usually when you use these implant materials, you need to revise the surgery again after a couple of years because these implants get rejected by the body. So it's very inconvenient for the patients. So we try to make them like lifetime materials, basically. When you make a surgery, you can they become part of the body after after surgery, and then they don't get rejected. So that's kind of the purpose of that. It's really biomedical application. It's really very, very important.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people.
Actually, they were pretty successful. We were able to increase the efficiency and also the lifetime of these biomedical implants 200%. So we have like much better material now.
A lot of people don't understand and don't fathom how much chemicals and chemical engineering really affect their lives. I mean, what you're talking about, somebody may say, well, it's a lot of technical info, but it's not. It touches our lives in many different ways, you know.
Everything we use.
Everything we use,
I mean, everything, like, right, like the plastics we use, the water filters we use,
the carpets, the utensils,
electronics,
the kitchen
electronics, even the medical implant itself, the titanium is made by chemists, right? So it's you know, the way it's modified, all that. So
yeah. So you finished in Alberta, and then where do you go after that?
So I finished in 2013, and then I moved to Cornell University, particularly to the Department of Chemistry and Chemical Biology, to Professor William Dichtel's lab. It's one of the really very famous.
Where's Cornell?
Cornell in New York, actually.
In New York, okay.
New York. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of
I asked these questions just in case listeners don't understand what Cornell is. So,
sure.
you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty big school. It's one of the top 10 in the US.
It is.
It's in a small town. It's called Ithaca, New York. So I moved to Cornell in 2014, and I started my postdoctoral studies. So in case maybe someone doesn't know what postdoc means, postdoc is like really a training kind of degree that you get after your PhD, just to help you being really like a really independent researcher more and more. You gain more experience. During the postdoc, you supervise PhD and graduates and master students. Also, you need to open some new research lines in the research group that you work in. So you get higher salary. It's not much higher, but higher salary basically. It's you are considered as a worker, but at the same time you are also training. So you are getting more experience in research. I spent about 2 years and 4 months again at Cornell as a postdoc. In Will Dichtel's lab.
What is the most important thing that you did there at Cornell?
Two things, actually. So in the first year, I worked on energy storage materials like lithium-ion battery storage electrolytes. So we collaborated with California, Berkeley, and MIT, actually. So we had a joint program between the three universities. And I led that actually research. And I made some materials for it. We had a nice paper that we published together. And then the second year, I worked on polymers for water purification. So I tried to make some polymers that are derived from biomass that are basically not harmful to the environment, but at the same time, they can help removing the micropollutants from water, especially the PFAS pollutants and the pollutants that are really that pose health like threats.
Before we get into your second move, we're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
Sure.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true in the face of flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Now more than ever, getting your flu vaccine is essential. Flu vaccines are proven to be safe and effective. In a typical year, flu vaccinations prevent millions of illnesses and thousands of hospitalizations and deaths in the U.S. Everyone 6 months and older should be vaccinated this flu season. To protect our essential workers and those who are at highest risk for flu complications, such as people over 65, children younger than 5, pregnant women, and those with underlying health conditions, we need to face the flu together. Help us hit the flu head on. Get your flu vaccine to protect your community and your loved ones. Learn more at michigan.gov/flu. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bottom, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights. When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600. At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552. And the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We're talking to Dr. Sabeiee here about his success route to where he is right now. So you, after Cornell, where did you go?
So I joined Arkema, which is a pretty big company. So it's a French company actually, but I joined the research center of Arkema in Pennsylvania, in the US basically. In 2016, and then I was a PhD scientist there for about almost 2.5 years. So I worked on plastics that make up the wind blades, wind turbine blades, basically, and also for automotive applications like bumpers in the cars and things like that. So that's what I worked on. And the particular polymers were acrylic polymers. They are made of PMMA or polymethyl methacrylates. So it's pretty famous type of polymers. And I was actually part of a team that developed the first recyclable wind turbine blades that's ever made, which is I'm pretty happy of that. And it's actually already a commercialized material now. It got commercialized after a year that after I left Arkema. I left Arkema in 2018, and I joined Dow DuPont. So Dow DuPont was a merger between Dow and DuPont. These are
Dow Chemicals and DuPont. Yeah.
So these are the two largest chemical companies in the United States. So they merged together.
Aren't they based in Michigan?
So Dow is based in Michigan. DuPont is based in Wilmington.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So they merged together. They formed a giant company called Dow DuPont. That was in 2017. And then they split again in 2019. So I joined actually the company right in between. So in 2018. I worked there, and the two companies split in 2019, and we became part of DuPont actually after the split of the two companies.
Okay.
So now I'm in DuPont. I've been here since again 3.5 years ago.
What do you do there?
So we are working actually on making what's called the polishing pads for semiconductors. Semiconductors basically constitute or like make the different nanoprocessors that we use in all of the electronic devices, smart devices that we have, the TVs, the cell phones, even all of the electronics that go into the health, kind of, or the machines that are used for medicine, and even cars, and so all of the electronics that we use, they have certain they have processors in them basically. So that's where the semiconductors go. So what we do is we make what's called the polishing pads, which are used actually during the fabrication or the manufacturing of semiconductors. These are essential consumables used in the manufacturing process. They are used basically to polish the surface of the semiconductor during the synthesis. So basically, semiconductor is made of usually it's multi-layer.
What is semiconductor being used for?
It's part of the nanoprocessors. All of the processors that we have in the electronic devices that we use.
Give us an example of such devices.
Cell phones.
Okay.
The smart TVs, the medical equipment, even the cars, all of the computers that you see in the cars, they have semiconductors all over. They are the heart and the brain, all of these devices, right? So they are the reason why humanity have all of these advancement nowadays, because of semiconductors.
This is really fascinating, and we're so proud of what you accomplished, and now it takes us into you've been selected one of the talented 12, which is a prestigious award in chemical engineering by the chemistry for ACC, which is ACS. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? And because you didn't know about it, you were nominated by somebody, either university or somebody, and was it a complete surprise to you?
Yeah. Actually, I think it was not the first time I got nominated to it. It's pretty competitive award. I think it's probably the second time or third time that I got nominated to this award even. But this year, it came by surprise somehow. So I just saw the email from Chemical Engineering News. It was 3 months before the award was announced, but I was very, very happy about it. It's very competitive, and this award is actually recognizes people not only from industry, it's also from academia. As you probably, if you looked at the awardees, so you would see like most of them, more than half of them are professors at big universities. So like, the Cambridge, I think different California, University of California as well. So and then there were a couple of people from industry as well. So it recognizes people in their early career. They have to be under 42 years of age. They need to. It's basically people who made some kind of impressive contributions to the chemistry. And
so, what do you hope to accomplish?
So. So I would say kind of what really drives my curiosity more is kind of contributing to areas where areas that impact people's life. At the same time, people that reduce the impact on the environment as well. So reduce the harmful effect of chemicals, right? So what I love to do in general is to develop some sustainable materials that are derived from like biomass, for example, things that you can get from nature, from biosources, and then you can use them to make some useful chemicals that address some of the challenges we have. Like water purification is something that I've contributed, and I would love to contribute again if I see another challenge that I can work on.
You ever think about going back to Syria one day and benefit your country?
So it's a difficult question.
If things improve,
Yeah, in general, definitely, like it's something that everybody think about, right? So it's my home country. It's
exactly.
Yeah, but the challenge with that we might also have is the chemical research we do is very, very costly. We spend thousands of dollars every day on reactions and on the machines that we use. So if we don't have all of these facilities and all of this money that's put into research, we can't do anything. right?
Absolutely.
So that's what the limit that we have in general. Like chemistry research is very, very costly, and that's one of the reasons why US is so advanced at this research, is because we have too much money to do this research here. So
we have like 1 minute left. I just want a final thought from you.
Yeah, so I would say that I would encourage actually Arabs, people who think that going to science to go into this field. I think we need more Arabs to excel and do more science and really be, even in the Arab world, I think there are some countries who are spending some good money, on research. And I would encourage people to really go to this field. We need more Arabs and we need more innovations coming from the Arab world. So yeah. That's what
Congratulations. We're so proud of you, so proud of what you accomplished. And it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck to you. And I'm sure we're going to be talking in a few years with a much bigger accomplishment. And thanks again.
Thank you so much. Very appreciate it.
Absolutely. I want to thank our producer. Also, I want to thank you, listeners, for listening. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Bye now.